Hi everyone, it's Sahara and Amanda from Weaving the Red Thread, and we just wanted to drop in and talk about how important menarche is. And for anyone out there who doesn't know what menarche means, which a lot of you won't because it's not a word in our vocabulary, it actually refers to a girl's first period, the very first time she has her period. And why is this important?
So do you remember your first period? Because I have a really clear memory of my first period.
Yeah.
So as women, we're gifted with these amazing opportunities through our lives, and we have really clear rites of passage. So a rite of passage is a time of honouring or recognition of a transformation. So one that everybody knows really well is a wedding.
Yep.
We all celebrate our weddings. There's a rite of passage. There might be a time for celebration beforehand with your girlfriends or boyfriends, and then there's a day of ritual celebration, of joining and honouring the people that are standing there. So menarche for women is actually our first rite of passage, and as we recognise and celebrate this first rite of passage, we're teaching our daughters something really important. We're teaching them how to honour themselves and how important it is that they honour their body and their cycle. So much of our world is surrounded by a 24-hour clock and a 7-day-a-week calendar. And women's bodies, I don't know about you, mine definitely does not follow a 24-hour clock. I cannot be the same person every single day of my cycle. My biology, my hormonal makeup, my emotional transformations, they're all different. And Sahara and I do a lot of education around menstrual education and cycle awareness and living in harmony with our cycle. It's called an infradian rhythm. So if you've never heard of the infradian rhythm before, number one point to start there. But when we come back to this recognition of how important it is as a woman to live a life that makes sense, hormonally and cyclically, we need to recognize that. And your daughters, when they step from that being a young girl into being a cyclical being, they're going to get hormonal changes, they're going to get body changes, they're going to get emotional changes as they step to this next stage of their life. So a rite of passage is a recognition of a transformation from one person to the next.
Yep.
We do the same thing around motherhood. When we're pregnant to when we're a mother, we transform. And I know that as mothers, you've all been through that and know how very, very important that rite of passage is. When we get to the very end of our cycle or cyclical life, we become a menopausal woman. We don't have a cycle anymore, and we have recognition of that rite of passage as well into grandmothering time or into that Marga wisdom. So I hope that explains. Do you think that explains rite of passage?
I think one thing to say, it happens whether you recognize it or not.
Oh yeah.
Whether you are conscious about it or not, because it's a biological, holistic rite of passage of change that happens to you. So in what you were saying is that, it is to prepare for it, it is to welcome it, it is to celebrate it, and then to start living it.
Yeah.
And we work in all of those realms. We do workshops to help prepare mums and daughters and dads and families. We actually do ritual and ceremony to celebrate the first blood, and then we do cycle awareness to actually go, well, what is this new way of being? I'm not linear anymore. My reality has changed by moving into a cyclical rhythm. So we're here to be of assistance and service to mums and dads and daughters in this transitioning and blossoming into cyclical living, and menarche is where it starts.
Yeah. So we invite you to recognize this very important rite of passage for your daughter, even for yourself. Go back and sit in that rite of passage, and what did it feel like and how did it transform you? Yeah. We have some freebies in terms of like ebooks on how you might create a welcoming of menarche. And we're always in our group doing lots of chats around how do we change the culture around menstruation for our girls so that every girl has access to honouring this rite of passage. Yeah?